Hello and welcome to another episode of Real Reviews. My name is Jameson Rabbitt, and today I'm joined by a man who's been a brony since before it was cool. His name is Mike Roth.
I invented it.
Right.
I've never said it.
Guys,
Just people go, bam, brony.
Guys, way into My Little Ponies.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's what a brony is.
I thought it had...
Dudes who love My Little Ponies.
I thought it was like guys who like to bake chocolate.
No.
No?
I recently watched not one, but two documentaries about bronies.
Really?
Yeah.
That is crazy
So
that two
let's
people
not
would
judge.
do that.
Let's not judge that I've watched two of these. Let's just call you one of them. How about that?
Yes.
Very good.
I don't even think I've seen a cartoon. I've watched She-Ra plenty of times. So.
Well, obviously she's He-Man's cousin.
Yeah. That makes her cool.
Exactly. All right, let's get right into this, man. The show's going on. All right. This week we have one movie on the marquee to talk about. It's a big movie. It's the biggest movie that we've had so far, I think. And then we have a special little list we're going to get into first. But first, let's look at what's on the marquee. Furious 7, the 7th installment of the Fast and Furious franchise. This one brings back our entire cast from 5, 6, 7. I mean, ties everything together, really.
Brings them back from the dead, too.
And we right? We also get, as we have with the recent incarnations of this franchise, we have to get bigger. We have to add more star power to it. We get Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
We get Jason Statham as our main bad guy, who, if you watched Fast 6, the stinger at the end of Fast 6 led into that. You find out Jason Statham is not happy. Kind of a Hans Gruber situation where you took out my brother, now I've got to get revenge on you.
Yeah.
And of course, The Rock is back for a smaller role, but
Yeah, a lot smaller. I was kind of surprised.
yeah, I think it was good though what they did with him. I mean, first off, you see this movie, there is a lot more fist fights than I can remember in any of the previous movies.
Yes.
There are several big action fist fights. The movie basically starts with one of Statham versus The Rock. Mm-hmm. And as always with this franchise, you have to completely suspend disbelief of how things work. I mean, to tell you that the opening scene ends with The Rock being thrown from the 5th story of a building because of an explosion, throws him from the window of a 5th story building, he lands on top of a car 5 stories down, and he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Crack his neck like that. Oh, I think I hurt my arm.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, right?
It is extremely ridiculous, but I don't think they're trying to tell any truths with this movie at all. No. They just want to show, bam, action, and that's what they did. They really showed a lot of action.
We get one scene where, I mean, spoiler alert, but Vin Diesel takes his car off a cliff, barrel rolling it down a mountain.
Yeah.
Just continual, but comes to a stop on the roof, nothing but a roll cage and a chassis left. Mm-hmm. Gets out and he's like, oh man, he's wearing a wife beater made out of iron.
Yeah.
And just like, oh, where'd that guy go?
Well, everybody could tell this was going to be the movie with the previews, which they played for well over a year of the cars jumping out of an airplane.
And cars jumping from building to building to building.
I'm sure there was many science geeks out there that went, this is not possible, but
right.
You know, hey, it's good fun.
Defies physics.
It does.
Really, I mean, let's talk about the kind of the elephant in the room, I guess, because
True.
I don't know about you, but to a man, every person who has come up to me since this movie came out, you know, hey, did you see Fury 7? Yeah, of course. Every single person, the first question out of their mouth is, how'd they kill Paul Walker? Everyone, like, don't ask if, how'd they kill Paul Walker? Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to get into how it wrapped, but I like how they handled it. More importantly, the CGI technology that they used to fill in the gaps of what he hadn't yet finished shooting, using his brothers and CGIing his face on, I thought was 98% spotless.
I would completely agree. There's maybe 3 times where I saw it and I was like, whoa, a little creepy.
There was one scene where the end is a little weird. There's one scene where the crew is all standing kind of before the big climax where they're plotting out how they're going to do it, and they're standing overlooking the city, and the camera pans, and I'm like, well, that's somebody else.
Yeah.
but really, you are making a movie of putting a digital face on somebody else, and it looks great.
I think a lot of it, the way they did it so well was in the CG moments, they made sure that the face does not move at all.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it looked like a Scooby-Doo mask in a way.
Sometimes, but I thought it was...
But the lighting on it, it made it look perfect. If it was a still picture of it, you would not be able
and because morbid or not, like it or not, everyone going in the first time watching this is looking for the flaws in that. You're looking, going, which scene is which you can't help it. Because you know that Paul Walker passed away filming this, and you know what they're doing. And so you're just looking for where can I find it? Can I find it? And so they know it's a Where's Waldo situation, and they did an excellent job.
I think if you went into this movie without knowing, you might be really kind of put off a little bit, but it wouldn't set in your mind for a long time. Really, they did a good job.
Let's talk about the actual plot of the movie. We have basically, don't get caught up in the plot at all. What am I saying?
Sorry, I missed that one.
We bring back everybody. This movie is all about family.
Yes.
And Vin Diesel's character Dom says it 100 times in this movie. Well, family. I got family. Jason Statham comes back as the older brother to right the wrongs of the previous movie. And he goes out on a manhunt, and he is a super trained super soldier, hunting them down, trying to blow them up, and they're on the run. The crew reunites. They're brought in by Kurt Russell, who I enjoyed Kurt Russell in this movie.
He is actually a perfect car guy. He's been in so many car movies.
He is, and he's just a good time.
Yeah.
He is a government agent and super black ops agent who is bringing them in because he needs them to free this hacker who has this technology called the God's Eye, which can track anyone in the world using any form of communication. You cannot hide. So you need to get Ramsey, get her from the bad guys, and then we'll let you use their technology to find the bad guys. The loop in that thought kind of confuses me. Like, go to Jason Statham and get Ramsey, and then we'll let you use her technology to find Jason Statham. But I'm going to him in the first place. Okay, that's fine.
The plot is not the thick part of the movie. People know, and they don't go to a seventh of any movie franchise for a plot. They go there for what is necessary, and what's necessary in this movie is action that's over the top and wows people.
Lots of fists. There's great, I mean, pretty much everybody in the main cast gets their own fist fight. You've got the Paul Walker versus Tony Jaa fight on the bus that's hurtling down the mountain. That's a good time. Really good action there. You have the Rock and Jason Statham. You have the Vin Diesel and Jason Statham. You even have Ronda Rousey, newcomer, and Michelle Rodriguez, a great fight in Dubai. Really big action pieces.
I did have a problem with some of these, especially with Ronda's one.
Okay.
It's the same thing. I had a problem with Brick Mansions and a lot of the older action figure guys, where some of the people I don't think can fight. So what they do is they just cut and paste. With Ronda's, we all know that she could fight.
Yeah.
I don't think her counterpart
Michelle
could.
Rodriguez is a good fighter, though.
They did not.
The first movie she ever made was she was the girl fighter.
Well, unfortunately, in this fight scene, it was a lot of cut and paste.
It was a lot of quick cuts, too. A lot of,
Yeah.
I'm not sure what just happened.
Exactly. And
Somebody in the gold dress got just thrown through a window.
And not every fight scene, but I'd say half of the fight scenes were a lot of cut and paste. See someone throw a punch, and then the aftermath. It just, and I find it really confusing. I'd much rather see something seamless like Jackie Chan, and I know they can't be Jackie Chan, but
We can't all be Jackie Chan.
I can.
Okay, true enough.
You should see
I'm
me
just
with a
speaking for
shopping
myself.
cart at Cubs. It's awesome.
Overall, though, what are your thoughts on the movie?
As an action movie, it was great. If you're looking for just jaw-dropping action, this is the perfect movie for you. I did get a little bored of how much action there was.
It was pretty nonstop, and it had a long runtime of 2 hours and 15 minutes of really very small breaks in the middle. It kind of started to bleed into one another.
Yeah, the last 20 minutes, maybe half hour of the movie, I was actually kind of starting to yawn, and my eyes would wander. Cars are plummeting, things are blowing up all over the place, but it was just so much, I was getting bored of it. And
I agree 100%.
And a lot of the draw of the movie, unfortunately, is that morbid curiosity. And I think that's why this is the biggest movie of the year so far. is because of that.
Well, and it's a big franchise. I mean, since Fast 5 and bringing in The Rock kind of reinvigorated this franchise that was really starting to sag.
Yeah.
You bring in the franchise Viagra that is The Rock, and suddenly it's huge again, 6 is big, and you add in Jason Statham, and then you obviously have the morbid curiosity of Paul Walker.
But this is the 7th. I mean,
movies don't get better when they get to 7 or 8.
Jaws is huge. Nightmare on Elm Street was huge. Friday the 13th was huge. No one said the 7th one is going to be what makes this year.
Right.
The reason why the 7th one in this one is so huge is because of the unfortunate death of Mr. Walker.
So,
otherwise, I think this would have just been a normal movie that they would have brought out without that much hype.
so ultimately, what did you end up giving Furious 7?
I gave a Furious 7 a 3.5. I thought it was a good movie. It had great action. Wasn't superb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping for the summer to top this many times
no
over.
No doubt. Yeah, I gave it 3 stars.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was okay, above average, good action, kind of like an Expendables movie to me. But I like Fast 5 out of this whole franchise. I think Fast 5 is the best one by far, and this one kind of lags behind that one.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay, but it was overly long, and it was tough. There were large chunks of this movie. Plot-wise, I know you're not supposed to follow the plot, but just had me banging my head against the seat going, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, is it just to get from action scene to action scene? Because give me something else, you know?
Yeah, if they could, they should have just separated this movie into 2 shorter movies, and then you could have
a couple of shorts.
A couple of shorts.
Why not? All right, so since Furious 7 is the only movie that we had in theaters this week, we decided to go ahead and give you one of our patented lists. And this time, when you're talking Fast and the Furious movies, why wouldn't you want to hear about Mike and I's personal top 5 favorite car movies?
My Mother the Cars.
My Mother the
That's
Car.
actually a television show. I couldn't.
So this is our favorite. We are not saying these are the best. These are our personal favorite car movies.
And remember this, because we don't want any emails going, this movie is so much better. This is for some reason, personal reason, they're our favorites.
Let's do it. So let's start with you, man, and your number 5.
My number 5, a lot of people are going to go, ugh, but it is Rat Race from 2001, a lot like Mad World. A bunch of people, crazy, John Cleese, he's a millionaire and he likes odd bets. So he makes a bet with all his oddball millionaire friends on who is going to win this massive race across a couple of states to get the pile of money hidden in a locker. He gives random people golden coins. They all get these keys and they have to take off. Makes it a car movie because everybody pretty much starts off in a car. You got John Lovitz and his whole scene with his kids and his wife in the car, and he's trying to tell them they're on vacation, and he's trying not to tell them that they're in this huge race, always trying to deceive them. You have Seth Green and his brother, they're a con artist, and they're trying to get across any means possible, and everyone just gets into these huge, crazy situations, racing buses and cars and helicopters.
And all in vehicles.
And you got huge names. You got Cuba Gooding Jr., Whoopi Goldberg, John Lovitz, Paul Rodriguez.
They don't get bigger than Cuba Gooding Jr. I've said it before and I'll say it again.
Show me the
Don't
many.
get any bigger than Cuba Gooding Jr.
I haven't seen that commercial enough.
All right, your number 5. My number 5, if you know me, you know I like to cheat on these lists. So my number 5, I've got a tie. Let's do it. But they're tied for a very specific reason. So the first one is a 1985, I believe, classic Charlie Sheen movie called The Wraith. A movie about a young man who is forced to race for pink slips by the gang in town. He dies.
Oh,
but
no.
This
That's a spoiler alert.
This mysterious stranger shows up then in this interceptor, and he starts taking out the gang. And no one knows who he is. And he tracks down everyone. This is the first movie of Sherilyn Fenn. We got a young Randy Quaid. We've got a very young Charlie Sheen. It's cheesy, but it's good. Now, it's also tied with the 1994 classic, which is almost a parody of chase movies, and it is another Charlie Sheen movie called The Chase. Charlie Sheen is a convicted, he's broken out of jail. He holds up Christy Swanson and takes her, kind of carjacker, I guess, and they're on the run, and they're being chased by a whole host of characters as they are, the entire movie is a chase. Just like it says, beginning to end, in the car, tearing down the highway. You've got Henry Rollins as one of the cops chasing after him. You've got a who's who of 1990s rock bands. You've got Flea and Anthony Kiedis in a monster truck trying to chase him down. Everyone, it is very much OJ on the highway, and it's televised, and everyone's trying to be the guy that stops him and gets the money, the reward money, and saves the day. And it is a parody of chase movies, but I love it. It's so much fun. So that's my number 5s. Check them both out, Charlie Sheen.
You cheat so
I always
bad.
do. Your number 4, sir.
My number 4 is Death Proof. I mentioned a little while ago Kurt Russell being a huge car guy. This is one of my favorite movies. Directed by Tarantino. It was originally put together with another movie called Planet Terror, which was done by Rodriguez. They're supposedly modern films taken back like the 70s, late 60s.
Part of the Grindhouse
spin.
double feature.
Yeah. I love the commercials that tie these in. Out of the two movies, my favorite, of course, was Death Proof, where Kurt Russell plays a serial killer stuntman Mike. He pretty much pimps out his Chevy Nova to have this roll cage where he is death proof. He will live any crash, but his passenger... Not so much. It is a horror film. It is a splatter film. It is a fun movie. If you have not seen it and you like horror movies, you need to go see that double feature. You'll love it.
I agree 100%. My number 4 is, we're talking car movies. My number 4 features the car guy of all car guys, and that is the movie Bullitt with Steve McQueen. Steve McQueen, the greatest. And Bullitt is my favorite. And Bullitt, it's a great movie where he's the detective trying to track down these killers. But what sells it the most is the final chase scene, the most iconic chase scene in movies. The 10-minute chase through the streets of San Francisco as he in his Charger chasing after the guys in their Mustang. And it renovated what chase scenes look like. There's a lot of POV camera work from inside his car, so you're following it as they're going up and down these bumpy streets in San Francisco. No sound, no music, just the roars of the engines, just pure 1970s muscle cars tearing after each other. And it's Steve McQueen doing his own stunts, and it's just so much fun. It is adrenaline, and
I have not seen this movie.
Oh man,
I gotta see this.
Phenomenal. Bullitt is great. He plays as those great 70s detective movies, a Serpico, a French Connection, these types of movies. He plays the guy who doesn't play by the rules, the detective that doesn't play by the rules.
Stereotype.
He was the first one to pull off that turtleneck with the blazer over the top, like I'm off duty, but I'm kicking butt still. Steve McQueen was one bad dude, and Bullitt is my favorite Steve McQueen movie, so I highly recommend checking it out.
The turtleneck is pretty much dead. I don't see anybody rocking those anymore.
Guys like me that don't have necks.
Maybe that's it.
Even a mock turtleneck chokes me out.
The rise of McDonald's is the default of the turtleneck.
Your number 3, sir.
My number 3 is Duel. This is a Steven Spielberg movie. His first big movie that kind of started his career over 40 years ago. Traveling salesman, he cuts off this old Peterbilt oil tanker, totally ticks off this guy, and the trucker goes mad. He actually makes it his kind of work for the next 2 hours of this movie to try to kill this traveling salesman. This is actually a really good movie. I believe it was like a Hitchcock short or something, and originally it was slated for TV, but Spielberg did such a great job and it was so popular that they added some stuff and made it into a feature-length movie. Steven Spielberg still credits this movie as what started his career, and people should know who he is. He's one of the biggest directors.
Oh, yes. Spielberg. Yeah.
He did this thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
I got you.
But anyhow, if you have not seen it, you definitely should see it. It's even though it only pretty much has one character, his emotions going through this constant chase of this super tanker that is actually really fast going up mountain hills. It's really super unbelievable. But you never get to see the driver, and Spielberg actually reused some of the sound from Duel and put it in Jaws. Because sharks don't growl.
Sharks sound just like super tankers.
Yep.
All right, my number 3. Ooh, we gotta get moving. My number 3 is Mad Max. And you could choose any of the Mad Max movies, I'm saying. For me, it's the first one and the second one. The third one's... And the third one doesn't have a lot of car action in it. But that second one especially, I mean, they are predicated on these crazy vehicles because it is a post-apocalyptic world down there in Australia. And gas is what everyone needs. There is no fuel left. And so everyone is willing to kill each other for fuel. So to get around, you do what you can. You make the vehicles out of the scraps that you can. And everyone's trying to kill everybody out there in the outlands. So you've got to make crazy contraptions and weapons as part of them as well and defend your vehicle. And they are amazing cars. Mad Max's Interceptor is incredible. I love it. And just... They're so much fun.
I am so looking forward to the
to
reboot.
Fury Road.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait. And so that's I'm dying for that. But yeah, the first two Mad Max movies were very small. The first one didn't even come out in America, so that's why they named the second one The Road Warrior.
Have you ever seen
like people won't know Mad Max 2 because they've never seen the first one.
Have you ever seen the voiceover dub? Oh, the original when
No.
it brought over to America.
I'm sure it's great.
Oh, that's funny.
It's the movie that launched Mel Gibson into America's hearts.
Pretty much.
And so any of those Mad Max movies are just great fun, amazing cars, trucks, motorcycles.
I don't know if Mel Gibson's in our heart anymore, but at a time,
He's had some issues, but yeah.
a little bit.
That man could rock a mullet, I'll tell you what. I'm just saying.
Not too many people could do that.
Let's hit it. You're number 2.
My number 2, Back to the Future. If you haven't seen this movie, you do not watch movies. This is huge. Directed by...
Robert Zemeckis.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Who also did Used Cars. Kurt Russell is in that. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Forrest Gump. Everybody knows who this guy is. Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, they are 2 time travelers, but... Really, the DeLorean takes the cake.
The DeLorean's on the poster of the movie, right? It's on the poster of all 3 movies.
You cannot look at a DeLorean without thinking of this movie. And everybody goes, oh, that's a time machine. No one says, oh, that is a failed model car.
One of the most iconic movie cars in history.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in the discussion of top 3 easily.
Easily.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's if you don't think it's a car movie.
If they don't have the car, the movie doesn't happen.
Nope.
They're just hanging out.
Yeah. Just
waiting for something to happen.
Trying to run down a hill doing 88 miles per hour. You can't do it.
Doesn't work. Back to the Future, I love it. Good choice. My number 2 is American Graffiti. American Graffiti, one of the early George Lucas films, his second film, and it's set back in the 1950s. He discovered this young guy named Harrison Ford. This Ron Howard guy.
Never heard of him. Ron Howard, he was Han Solo, right?
Sure. So many Mackenzie Phillips. I mean, just a host of young stars that were going to be in the 70s and 80s. And it's just all about cruising in the town in the 50s. The cars are so beautiful. I mean, just amazing cars that classics now. And just them cruising around up and down this strip, I guess, and just all the stuff that goes along with being 17, 18, 19 years old at that time, driving around your 56 Chevy, trying to pick up girls at the malt shop, messing with the cops. It's just, I love that movie so much, and it is the best of George Lucas as far as making a movie, as far as the look and telling a story and using believable dialogue. There is no bigger Star Wars fan than me, but George Lucas writes the worst dialogue in the world.
Yes, he does.
And the dialogue in this movie is fun and believable and sounds like humans would say it. And it's a fun time. And those cars, they never leave the cars. It's a great time. So I highly recommend American Graffiti.
I've heard it was a great movie.
It
Actually,
is.
I've seen it many times.
It's a beautiful,
Yeah,
beautiful
it's a good
Blu-ray
movie.
too. So you're number 1. Let's do it.
Number 1 is like one of my top favorite movies anyhow, but it is
Cannonball Run.
It is no, and it's not Cars. I don't see that on your list either.
No.
My number 1 is National Lampoon's Vacation, starring Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. This is a hilarious movie, all taken in the station wagon, pretty much. They call it the Family Truckster.
You hate it now. Just wait till you drive it.
I love that. This car goes through hell and back, and the whole trip is about the family being together pretty much in the station wagon. They could take a plane, but getting there is half the fun, right?
I wanted the optional Rally Fun Pack.
There's so many quotes.
good.
I quote this movie probably at least weekly. Real tomato ketchup, Eddie?
Nothing but the best.
It's not made of mud. It's made of sod.
That is
Gosh,
one of the
there's
great
so many stuff
one of the great movies of all time, and the Family Truckster, one of the great iconic cars.
I actually tried finding one.
I have too. Yes.
That's
Find me a wood panel Family Truckster.
green, pea green.
Pea green. I thought
Not
I
the
ordered
Arctic blue.
The Arctic blue. Oh, I love it. That is a great choice. My number one is a movie. When you talk about favorite car movies, to me, the car needs to be iconic. And much like we talked about with your last two, this to me is an iconic film and an iconic car, and that is Smokey and the Bandit.
Yep.
You see that car, you know it's the Bandit. And there are two things that you are most memorable about this movie. It's the car and the mustache that Burt Reynolds was rocking. Mm-hmm. And this is I recently rewatched it, and Jackie Gleason and Burt Reynolds back and forth is hilarious. Underrated comedy of the 70s. One of the greats. Jackie Gleason just kills every line in this movie.
I think it's still. Was it underrated? I think people love this.
It didn't. It came out. Here's the problem. It came out the same weekend as Star Wars.
Oh!
Same weekend. How's that for a double bill, though?
Terrible.
You go to the theater. It's like, I'm going to go see Smokey and the Bandit. Then I'm going to go see Star Wars. That's a nice weekend. That's a nice Friday night. But this movie, I mean, it spawned some less than stellar sequels, should we say? But I mean, Burt Reynolds running around with Sally Field in the Bandit, trying to run blocker for Jerry Reed, the Snowman, running some Coors out of Texarkana. You know, they're thirsty in Atlanta, and they got beer in Texarkana, and we're gonna make it happen. It's just, I love it, and it's underrated, and that car it does some amazing things.
That was a Firebird, right? The Trans Am?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And it made it. It quadrupled the sales of that vehicle.
Oh yeah, I remember as a kid, Matchbox cars.
Sure.
All the cool kids had to have at least one black
have
Trans
to.
Am. Yep, T-top.
It's great. It's great. So that's my number one, Smokey and the Bandit, the first one. My favorite car movie. If you have any favorite car movies that you'd like to let us know about, you can do so. You go to us on Facebook, you go to us on Twitter, at Real Reviews TV at both places, and let us know what your favorite car movies are. What do we miss? I know we missed something. There has to be. Somebody has to love Cannonball Run. Come on. Let's jump ahead at what is coming out soon, though. The weekend of April 17th, we have a full house at the box office that weekend. And so we have 4 movies coming out that weekend. I'm going to go through them real quick here. The first one is Child 44, the newest Cold War movie, I believe it is, starring Tom Hardy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Child dies and he's not very happy about it. It looks pretty great. And
Yeah.
I'll watch anything with Tom Hardy in it.
Unfortunately, it's probably going to be a limited release and we'll be able to see it. But
We shall see.
I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm really hoping I'm
The
wrong.
second movie coming out that weekend is the newest Disney Planet Life movie called Monkey Kingdom, as they follow a family of monkeys around, and those are always a good time. Yeah. Amazing camera work. There's always incredible camera work on those. The third movie is a sequel that you all asked for, and you got your letter writing campaigns worked. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Major release, every theater.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. These things
You
don't
said
always,
that.
They don't always need to happen. All right, Paul Blart 2 will be coming out that weekend. And finally, the movie that Michael is looking forward to the most, the horror movie of the weekend, Unfriended.
No, this is the only horror movie I was like, no, I don't want to see this one.
Does it look good?
It does not
I mean,
look good.
I don't prejudge all the time, but it looks rough.
It looks rough. I already am sick of found footage. To have found footage of stuff that's on your computer.
Skype found footage.
No.
But those are the movies that are coming out April 17th. As I said before we go, if you have any thoughts, concerns, questions, commands, demands, get a hold of us on Facebook. Get a hold of us on Twitter at Real Reviews TV. You can find us there. You can find everything that we're doing on there. Links to other things, other projects that we may be working on, whatever we have. You can also find us.
We could find us on YouTube. Just search Real Reviews, K-Sun. We will pop up around the Fishing Reel review show that's out there.
Look for these faces.
See that little screen right there? Look for that icon. You can't miss us. Watch us there for your Rikus, your Chromes.
And last but not least, we want to thank our sponsor, Marcus Theaters. Thank you for showing us all these movies, and we look forward to seeing more of them in your theaters. But until next week, when we'll be talking about The Longest Ride and possibly The Woman in Gold.
Boom!
My name is Jameson.
I'm Mike Roth.
Thanks for watching.